There's your update that the recording is in progress, and we are starting our 2023 Interscholastic Unified Strength Conditioning. This is our pre-competition briefing. State tournaments next week, so I wanted to get you some information to take with you to your kids hopefully tomorrow, and or send it out potentially over the weekend so they're prepared on Monday. As always, with Zoom, if you have any questions, you can either type it into the chat or you can go and you can unmute, raise your hand, whatever. There's a variety of ways to do things. If you have a question as we go throughout, again, stop, ask your question, no worries, but we will have a question section at the end as well. So the game plan for the night, some introduction stuff. We'll hit a lot more logistics than, quite honestly, the sports and events and stuff. You guys have been doing the sports and events all season. You know them pretty well. We want to prep you for what to expect when you arrive at this venue for the state tournament. That's me. That's my cat, Oogie. He likes to hike. He will not be coming to the competition. He does not do well with people, but he does great with climbing trees. Just a note, again, we always have medical on site. Before any of you guys get there, we have medical on site. Until every one of you leaves the building, we have medical on site. So if you need something during the day, medical-wise or assistance, let one of us know. Grab the medical person who will be from Free State Medical. They will be in a black uniform with red Free State Medical on their uniform. Additionally, if you have any medical concerns for athletes that need a separate changing room, whatever it may be, reach out to me via email with my email below. Just let me know as soon as possible so we can work to get you accommodations for your athletes. Location. We are at the Worcester Parks and Rec Center. It is in Snow Hill. It's right outside of Snow Hill. If you don't have the address, here's the address. When I send you the slides from the webinar here, you can actually click on this link and it'll bring you straight to the Google search and you put in your address and go from there. But we are at the end of the line there, essentially. We are past Salisbury, almost right at the very end of the state. So Snow Hill is where we will be this year. It's the first time that we're at this facility, but I think you guys are really going to like this new facility. If you haven't been there, it is a indoor track facility. They run indoor state high school track meets all the time. So really nice facility. Here's the schedule for the day. Again, it's the pretty standard schedule. If you've been to strength and conditioning before, we're looking for you guys to come between 9:45. The closer to 9, the better. You can settle in. You can find a spot in the bleachers. You can get warmed up. You could stretch. You could hit the bathroom. Again, the closer you come to 9:45, squeaking it to 10 o'clock, you're running right up against opening ceremony. So we will do a coaches meeting as usual before the day starts. It'll be 9:45 at the control center, which will be right as you walk in the arena. You won't miss it, and I have a map during this presentation for you to see more. We are going to hit opening ceremony right at 10:30. We need to keep things moving. Competition will start at 10:30, so make sure you are there, worst case scenario, before 10:30. We want you to be there for opening ceremony. We want to recognize you and your athletes. But if something wild happens, you hit traffic, you hit an accident, whatever it may be, let us know. I'll have my cell phone number in here that you can take down, but let us know if you're running behind in a pretty critical way. Lunches should be available about 11:30, depends on when we can get them back from Jersey Mike's in Salisbury. Great facility in Snow Hill. Unfortunately, you have to go back to Salisbury or Ocean City for everything and anything at that point. So it's about a 20-25 minute window for pickup of lunches. But we're going to do our best to get it to you for 11:30. One additional note that I want to let you know, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, they have a concession stand there, and they will have concessions available for purchase. So if you have, extra people on your team coming down just to spectate and cheer your kids on, if that's parents, grandparents, siblings, whatever it may be, there's going to be food at the concession stand, beverages at the concession stand. So while it's kind of a location that's not super close to a lot of restaurants and stuff, there will be food on site for purchase. If there is bad weather, which everything looks good as of right now, weather looks unseasonably warm for strength and conditioning in February. We're going to let you know worst case scenario by 6 a.m. February 21st, so you're not getting on buses if something happens. Realistically, we try to make the call the day before, but again, if it's just like raining or something, we will go. If we get a crazy snowstorm at the last minute on the 20th, that's when we would start to have a conversation about, do we push from the 21st? If for some reason we need to push out of the 21st because of bad weather or something happens, we will go to Thursday the 23rd as our competition date, as our rain date. So game plan is Tuesday. If we have bad weather, it'll be Thursday. Again, take this down as a backup note. If we have bad weather on the 21st, we have to push it. We're going to Thursday the 23rd. Event information in general. This is a slide that you should probably take down. It's just kind of the step-by-step procedures of arriving to the facility via bus and how we recommend going about it, pull in, where to drop off, where to tell your bus driver to pull back out and park at. The next slide is the map of it, which we highly recommend you print as well to give to your bus driver. Most people should be coming in off of 365. If you're coming from the Salisbury way, you're coming the way of the green line. I think the only way you come the opposite way on the road is if you're coming from like Pocomoke City or something like that. So most people should come in the green line, enter the facility on Landing Road. It's called Public Landing Road. And you guys will pull up right in front of the facility here and you'll drop off. The first person that's going to actually greet you as you get off the bus is George, who is on this webinar. So you get to see the person who's going to actually greet you off the bus this evening. Once you get off the bus, essentially your bus will circle back around the parking lot, go out to 365, and go down this long road through the softball fields and park in this back parking lot. That's the best place that they can park. They're more than welcome to come back across, walk across the field. It's not as far as it looks, and hang out in the facility with us, but we would like the buses to park out in this larger parking lot on the next road over. Additional parking. If anybody needs handicap specific parking, please let me know after this webinar. Email me. You guys have my email, and let me know that this person, give me their name, needs one handicap parking spot, and we will put a handicap parking spot set up for them so they can get into the facility and have easy access. For anyone that's traveling, that's potentially part of your team, an assistant coach, an AD, a paraprofessional, that's not going to be on the bus, there's general parking that's really close to the facility that they can get into as well. That's what this map is. This green section here is where the general parking is, and it's just right out front. We just ask that you let people know that are coming to the venue on behalf of your team. Please don't park in this first row closest to the building, because that's where we're going to be letting buses off of, and it's going to be a little bit packed. Plus, if we don't park in those front rows, we give primary access to handicap parking for those that may need it. I will also say that the facility is not closed for us. There are still other rooms within this big rec center, a fitness room, some dance and Zumba rooms and stuff like that, that some people that are members may be coming and going in the morning while we're still loading in. But just, again, general parking, stay in the green area, anywhere in the parking lot besides the first row. These blue sections over here, this is where we are going to park our staff and folks that are helping us. And then additionally, these two other colored sections, we have a very large powerlifting trailer that transports all of our powerlifting equipment that will be brought in there. And then the orange spot is where we park our rented truck, our 15-foot truck that brings all the other equipment. So again, park in the green, that's where we want you for the day. Merchandise. We will have merchandise for purchase. At Outdoor Bocce, we had some really nice long sleeve shirts. We had these Unified Generation hats that are really nice. We had fanny packs that are really, really cool. So there's all sorts of stuff that'll be for purchase for merchandise. We will take cash or credit cards. Unfortunately, we are not set up in a good spot yet to do any of the Venmo or Cash App or any of that kind of stuff. So just let your kids or parents know that we will have merch, and cash or credit card is perfectly fine. Additionally, we will have folks in the lobby so it'll be merchandise, Unified Champion Schools, Healthy Athletes, and concessions that are all in the lobby when you first walk in before you get into the arena. Unified Champion Schools talks about youth leadership opportunities, whole school engagement. Healthy Athletes is going to talk about hydration and stretching and well-being for being a healthy athlete day after day. Again, we want our students to be out and engaging in competition, but to be a good competitor, you got to be living a healthy lifestyle every day. And we want to present them with those materials. All of that stuff will be in the lobby. Again, concessions, merchandise, Unified Champion Schools, Healthy Athletes, restrooms, all that stuff will be in the lobby. I mentioned Healthy Athletes, find that in the lobby. Sometimes Kayla likes to bring some nifty little giveaways too. So if your kids like free stuff, nice to go see Healthy Athletes to get some free stuff. Lunch. We are getting lunch from Jersey Mike's. I will say we just got lunch from Jersey Mike's for indoor bocce, and they were excellent lunches. They are either a turkey and cheese sandwich, a veggie and cheese type of sandwich, which is my favorite, or a ham and cheese sandwich. We also have gluten-free options of each of those. So again, you guys have turned in your lunch form. We'll pre-package all the lunches so that you as a coach and maybe an assistant coach, all you have to do is pick up lunch where we have lunch designated, and you're good to go at that point. No lunch line. We don't do that anymore. You just need to show up and grab a box that has all your lunches in it, take it back to your spot in the bleachers, and enjoy your lunch. Competition stuff. So credentials. For strength and conditioning, again, we do hanging credentials. That'll be on a neck string in a credential badge. Coaches will get those. We need you as coaches to wear them at all times so we know who's on our competition floor and who's working with our athletes. The athletes will not get a hanging credential. They will get a traditional track and field bib that goes on the front of them. And on that, we'll also have a label that we put on that says what division they're in, what events they're doing, what time their events are. So hopefully that's all really helpful. So the main thing that I want you to know from the slide is, coaches, when you have your hanging credentials, please wear them at all times. Make sure your athletes have their bibs on them. Keep them on at all times too. That lets us know who's part of the competition and who is not. Remember to review the event guide. That will come out tomorrow. You're going to get an email tomorrow with a copy of these slides, a link to the recording of this webinar, and you will also get the event guide. The other thing that I'm hoping to have out tomorrow, we'll definitely have it out Saturday morning, worst case scenario, is the divisions. So you know what division you're in, what other teams you're competing against. Here's the facility layout. I don't know if any of you have ever been to the Worcester Parks and Rec facility, but essentially it's a really nice indoor track that they can also fit 3 basketball courts on in the middle. Game plan is there are bleachers all around the inside of the arena. You can grab and take whichever bleacher set that you want to have your team in. Based on the number of teams and the number of bleachers, I think you might even all get your own bleacher, but there's a chance you may need to share with a team. So make sure you're allowing room and giving room for folks. But otherwise, when it comes to field of competition, everything is going to be either on the basketball court area or running events are going to be on the back side of the track. We're going to use the track to the best of our ability. The track isn't as much of an oval like this as it is a traditional straightaway here. Because it is a quarter-mile track that makes the straightaway 50 meters, if I can do my math right on the fly. So we will do all the running type of events on the back side of the track here. So that's shuttle run, race walk, relay, and I believe there's enough room to do the full PT series. The one thing that we may communicate in the coaches meeting is if we are going to pivot the PT series back onto the basketball court. We'll let you know the morning of, but I anticipate we will do it on the track. So then the basketball court area is going to be divided in 2 sections, essentially. The right-hand side, when you walk in, as you're looking at it, is going to be the powerlifting area. There will be a powerlifting platform with all of our normal stuff, our judges set up and all that kind of stuff here. Behind a setup of pipe and drape, there will be a practice platform where your athletes can warm up for bench press and deadlift. And then in front of the powerlifting area, there's going to be a spectator area. If we have enough chairs, we'll set out chairs. But just let your folks know that there's a good chance that it's standing room only on the basketball court for spectator area. If we hop over to the left side of the basketball court, you will have all the fitness events. You'll have arm hang, you'll have jump rope, you'll have stationary bikes, and we're also going to add over to that side the standing long jump. They have a long jump pit because it is a track and field facility, but it's a standard sand long jump pit, and I don't know if they're going to have it groomed and reset after all of their winter indoor track meets to be a good experience for your athletes. Plus, with strength and conditioning, most of your athletes aren't jumping in the sand either. They're jumping on basketball courts or in your gymnasiums or so on and so forth. So we are planning to move the standing long jump to the fitness side of the area. Additionally, control center is going to be right in the middle of the two. So if you need something, if you have a question, if you have a protest, whatever it might be, control center is going to be right in the middle. I will say Mike Sarnowski, our VP of Sports, will be at control center for the day, but he will also be primarily working on inputting scores so we can get your results for your divisions as fast as possible. So if you go over there and you have a question and Mike's typing away on his computer, pause a minute till he finishes typing and looks up at you. Otherwise, you're just slowing down his role when it comes to getting results in to get you guys your awards at the end of the day. This is the first place that I'm going to legitimately stop and ask if there's any questions, especially now that you're seeing a venue layout. I'm not hearing any questions. The other thing that I will tell you is that we are going to do lunches. So there's this green rectangle here that the wording's cut off, unfortunately. This is a very large loading bay door. We will give out lunches down towards this loading bay door. Again, don't need to do a lunch line or anything. Send 2 or 3 coaches or, a coach and 2 athletes, whomever it may be, to pick up their lunches when we make the announcement. There's a full arena announcement system that we will make all of our announcements over. So just some notes for staging of events. We will make announcements of what events are being staged, and we just want your athletes to report directly to those events that we are calling that are being staged. There will be a check-in table there, each section. So the fitness section, the powerlifting section, the track section will all have a table that's their main competition table that when an event's called, we want our students to go and check in at. We will make a quote unquote final call. If we're missing people, we'll say this is the final call to report to X, Y, and Z events. If after that final call, somebody doesn't report, that person or that duo will get a 0 in their scores for not showing up. Eventually, we have to run these events. We just can't wait forever for everyone. With that said, this shouldn't happen because we run our event we'll do all the A block events and then all the B block events. So this shouldn't happen. But if for some crazy reason you have an athlete that is participating in one event when we call another one and they're busy participating or waiting to participate in an event, you as a coach, please go to the other event. So if you have an athlete in standing long jump and we call for, indoor cycling and they're supposed to be in that as well, you as a coach, please walk over nicely to indoor cycling and say, hey, John Smith is currently waiting to participate in the long jump. He will be over as soon as he's done. Our coordinator will say, great, that's awesome. Make a little note, and we'll get John Smith on the bike as soon as we can. Here's the event windows. We are splitting the day into an A and B block, just like you can pick events from our selection of events as a student athlete. We will start the day. We will make an announcement that Block A events are being opened. Please report to these events. Bench press for powerlifting, indoor cycling in the fitness area, shuttle run on the track and field, standing long jump for the fitness area as well. We will either start with indoor cycling or we will start with standing long jump, and then we will do the other one. Otherwise, the other ones are going straight through in that morning block. We will then take a pause at noon so that our officials and volunteers can get a lunch break, bathroom break, I didn't build this into bocce, and I will tell you, it was really good that we decided to take this. It was a nice little reset for everyone. And then the second half of the day went excellent. So that's our game plan for here as well. Once we hit 12:30 with that little lunch break, we will then say block B events are about to begin. Please report to deadlift, flexed arm hang, jump rope, race walk, relay. Students report, they do their event. And then, as we typically do, we will close the day with the PT series. Again, we will communicate whether the PT series will be on the track or if the PT series will be back in the basketball courts in the morning for the coaches meeting. Any questions on the blocks of event windows? Okay, we will keep going. So competition accommodations, again, like the medical accommodations, we are willing to work with you and your athletes. We just need to know ahead of time. We need to know, as soon as possible, email me and say, hey, I have an athlete that needs assistance with X, Y, or Z. Again, something that we put in our rules and stuff is that, you can bring your own belt and stuff. If you have an athlete that you need to bring a special lifting device for powerlifting, that's fine. Just let us know so we can give our officials a heads up before then. I like to remind people about protests. Again, we want you to protect your athletes as coaches. If you think either A, something was done wrong or by, other competitors or so on and so forth, you have the right to make a protest. I do try to remind folks that you can't protest officials' judgment calls. So the easy one that I tend to give, I'm a football guy, is if a official throws a flag for pass interference, you can't protest that. That's an official's judgment call. If they are not doing the sport right at all, if they're doing forward laterals or something like that, that's not how the game works. That's not how the sport works. That's not how you train your athletes. You can protest that. So in the situation of a really good example for strength and conditioning, flexed arm hang, you got to use your bare hands. You can't wear gloves. If somebody goes up there and does their flexed arm hang with gloves, you could protest that. I think that's probably the easiest example to give. The one note with protest is you have to file it within 15 minutes of that event ending. So if you see something and you think you should protest it, go straight to the control center, say, I would like to protest something. You will get a form, you will fill it out, it'll be reviewed, and we'll go from there. The group that is going to review things is Jen Hill, who is the district rep, Katie Schenker, who is also a district rep, and Mike Sarnowski, our VP of sports. We'll convene, we'll talk about it, it'll be approved or denied, we'll follow up with you, and we'll go from there. But again, I'd like to remind you, protect your athletes, look out for the best of your athletes, be nice about how you go about it, but come talk to us, communicate with us. One of the biggest things I always like to push is communication. Again, we're more than willing to support you and, be flexible and take care of your athletes within the rules of the games and the event. But you need to communicate with us. If we don't know, we don't know. Each school, this is one big thing. Each school who's coming or schools that have them, please bring a stationary bike or 2 stationary bikes. I know both districts for District 11 and 10 are getting a little short on bikes. Some of them are not working as well anymore. But anyone that has bikes, please bring them. Katie, if you happen to, off the top of your head, or not off the top of your head, you can email me how many you think we should be able to get from your end. That would be good. They do have a few stationary bikes at the facility, but not enough to make the day go smooth. Awesome, Tracy, if you can bring one, that's fantastic. But yeah, to make the day go smooth, and I think indoor cycling might be our largest event out of everything. It seems like the students really like indoor cycling, so please bring a bike or 2 if you can. Uniforms. This is just the stuff we like to talk about. You guys are good. Show up in athletic uniforms. Most of all of you have some sort of uniformed top, whether it's a school shirt or whatever it may be. Come in your typical school top. And then if you can do your best to have your students wearing somewhat uniformed shorts or track pants or whatever, just athletic pants of some sort. The one thing that we don't want is some sort of leggings having anything transparent or anything that's like a logo down the side. If for some reason leggings is what your student athlete works out in, even if it's like jogger pants, we want it to be one color, all black, all gray, all red, all blue, whatever it may be. Additionally, for shorts, we want it one consistent color as well. No stripes, no crazy designs or anything. If you decide your team's wearing black shorts, they don't have to be the same brand. As long as they're all consistently black, one kid can have Nike, one kid can have Under Armour, one kid can have, Walmart brand, whatever it may be. But just keep them consistent. No crazy designs is what we're looking for. Additionally, a reminder for uniforms is when you come up to awards, which should be coming soon. When you come up to awards, have your athletes wearing their uniforms. We're going to have a professional photographer on site, and she's going to be taking photos and doing all sorts of stuff. So again, make sure they're wearing their uniforms. Don't come up with backpacks. Don't come up with jackets over. At least for awards, come up in your uniforms. Again, like I said, team divisions, I'm going to have them for you tomorrow. Worst case scenario, it might be Saturday morning. But I'm still finishing some stuff in our games management system, lining up some of the events, so on and so forth, to make sure you guys all get the best experience for your student athletes. So just some miscellaneous stuff. I mentioned awards. Listen for announcements at the end of the day. The one thing with strength and conditioning is we are tallying scores all the way up through for a bunch of different events and doing the math on our sheet. And unlike bocce, where it has brackets and stuff, when we can do some awards throughout the day, we usually get all the results finalized at the end of the day. So then we go and do all of our awards at once. So just listen up. We'll call divisions. We'll call teams. We'll get you up on the podium. We'll have a really nice award ceremony for your athletes. But be patient and work with us when it comes to awards for when we call you guys. Day of volunteers. I know some schools have some additional kids on their rosters that help as volunteers. If they are 18 and they can sign for themselves, they can come with your school and they can sign paperwork day of. If not, you need to have people reach out to Samantha Boyd. Her email's right here. And you can go and you can register on Volunteer Hub. So if you have extra kids or you have another teacher in the school or an assistant coach for a different school team that says, this sounds really great, how can I help? Have them reach out to Sam Boyd and she can help get you signed up for volunteering. It may not be volunteering directly with your school. It may be general help with helping George at the arm hang or cycling. It might be helping Ryan at powerlifting and putting plates on and off of the bars. It might be helping Tommy Baker on the track. It might be helping with lunch. It could be any of those things. But if you have people that want to get involved with the state event, please reach out to Sam Boyd. Here's my phone number, 973 number. So if you see a New Jersey number, that's typically me. Just reach out. That's the biggest thing, communicate. If something comes up, if you hear about something this weekend of, hey, I have this crazy thing that's going to happen to my roster because X, Y, or Z kid isn't eligible because of school. That's my favorite thing this time of year is that some school districts, right at state tournament time are just like, kids aren't eligible. So it happens, right? If you're running behind when your bus is leaving the morning of, if you run into traffic because there's an accident, whatever it may be, take my cell phone number down and reach out to me if you have any issues, please. Again, we're more than happy to support you and work with you and create opportunities based on what may happen for your athletes. But if we don't know, we can't help you. So again, you'll have my email, you have my text, you have everything that you need to contact and reach out to us. If for some reason you don't know who your district rep is at this point, here's their email, who they are, and their cell phone. I'm pretty sure most of you know Jen and or Katie. And if you don't, I'm not sure how you have gotten this far on the competition webinar because they're your main point of contact for everything. So, but again, if you need their contact information, here it is as well. And that's it. That is the end of the line for the information we're trying to get to you guys tonight. Any questions as we've gone through things overall? George, is there anything that you would like to input as part of the management team?
No, Zach, I think you did a great job. Thank you for asking, but you did fantastic.
Cool. All right. So I'm not going to keep you for the sake of keeping you. Oh, we have one question in the chat. Yes, I got the Cambridge entry form, Kathy, so we're good to go. So again, if there's any questions, let me know. Again, if anything pops up tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, feel free to send me a text, give me a call. Usually, since I don't have your number, if you preempt me with a, hey, Zach, it's so-and-so, I'm going to give you a call, I'm more likely to pick up. But again, at the end of the day, all I can do is thank you guys for being such awesome coaches. I really appreciate all you've done for your student athletes this year. Strength and conditioning is a super unique program, and I think it's a really good experience for all of our athletes. It's a really, really strong unified experience as opposed to massive team sports, right? So I'm really happy to see you guys here. I'm even more excited to see you guys in Snow Hill this coming week. And again, if there's any questions, let me know. Thank you guys for being on here. I'll send you a big email with all sorts of resources tomorrow as well. And I'll see you guys in less than a week at the state tournament. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Zach.